Welcome to Half Double Crochet. Let's crochet together. Today we want to crochet this beautiful balaclava that will keep us warm and cozy in this winter. For this project I used yarn from Hobby. This is Amigo, and I used 133 grams of yarn. And then I used this 4.5mm hook, and we can start by measuring. First, we need to measure from our collarbone to our nose. This will be the width of our collar. So we start with a slip knot, and now we want to chain. You chain by yarning over and pulling through. And we need to chain until we reach this length from the collarbone to our nose. For me, this was 24 centimeters. And this meant 44 chains. When you have the right length, you add 2 more chains, yarn over, insert your hook into the third chain from your hook, grab the yarn, pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, and this is a half double crochet. Then again, yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, grab the yarn and pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Now we want to do a half double crochet into each chain until we reach the end of our crochet piece. For me, this meant 44 half double crochets. When we have reached the end of the row, we want to chain 2. Then we can turn our work, and now we want to continue with the half double crochets but into the back loop only. This is the back loop, the one that is further away from us. So we yarn over, skip the chains, insert the hook into the back loop of the last half double crochet of the former row, and we will work a half double crochet on top of it. And then we will do a half double crochet on top of each half double crochet of the former row, always into the back loop until we reach the end of the row. And then we want to repeat this until we have the right length. So the width was from our collarbone to our nose, which for me meant 24 centimeters, but the length needs to be around our head. So now we can measure again. Around our head to our nose, for me this was 58 centimeters. So we want to do our rows until we have those 58 centimeters, but with a stretch. So when I stretch my crochet piece, I want to reach 58 centimeters because it needs to be long enough to go around our head, but with the stretch. Otherwise, the collar part will be too big. So with a stretch, I had the right size. I had 58 centimeters, which I reached with incidentally 58 rows, and now I can sew the 2 sides together. We will do this with slip stitches, so insert your hook into the first stitch and then into the first stitch on the other side, grab the yarn and pull through, and this is a slip stitch. And then again, insert your hook into the next stitch on one side, and on the other side, grab the yarn and pull through. And we will do slip stitches until we reach the end of the row. And then the collar part is actually done. Here you can see the seam. Now we want to turn it on the right side, and we can continue with the hood part. But first we can do a finishing knot and leave some yarn for sewing in. Now we want to find the spot that is directly opposite of that seam. So here on the right you can see the seam, and then on the left is the stitch that is directly opposite, and I will put a stitch marker in so that I know which stitch is opposite the seam. And on the left side of the stitch marker we want to start with the hood part. So we'll do a slip knot and we'll start with a single crochet. For a single crochet, we need to hold down the shorter end of the yarn and we will not let go. Insert the hook into the collar part right next to the stitch marker. Grab the yarn and pull through. You have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through both loops, and this is a single crochet. And now we can let go of the shorter end of the yarn. We want to do 1 round with single crochets, and we need to do around 80 single crochets, more or less. But it should be around 80 single crochets, otherwise the hood part will not be big enough. Then we can connect the 2 ends with a slip stitch. So we insert the hook into the first single crochet, grab the yarn and pull through. And then we can continue with half double crochets. First, I want to put the stitch marker right next to my hook, so 1 stitch to the left. And now to the half double crochets. First, we need to chain 2. These 2 will not count as anything, we will not work into them. Then yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, grab the yarn and pull through. You have the 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And we want to do a half double crochet into each single crochet until we reach the other side of the stitch marker. So half double crochets all the way around. And when we have reached the other side of the stitch marker, we will not work into that stitch where the stitch marker is in. We'll do 2 turning chains. Then we can turn our work and then continue with the half double crochets. So now yarn over, insert your hook into the last half double crochet of the former row, and we will work a half double crochet on top of it. Then we can do our second round with half double crochets until we reach the other side of our stitch marker again. We will never work into the stitch where the stitch marker is placed, only until we reach it. And now we can repeat. We will do 2 turning chains, turn our work, and then continue with the half double crochets. We need to do as many rows as it takes until we have the right length of our hood part. So we need to measure from our collarbone to the top of our head. For me, this meant 35 centimeters. So I did row after row until I reached the 35 centimeters, and this was 51 rows. When we have the right length, we want to do 1 more row where we need to decrease a couple of stitches. I put 2 stitch markers in, and in between those 2 stitch markers there are 16 stitches that are right in the middle. And these 16 we want to decrease. So first we'll do 2 turning chains, and we can continue with the half double crochets the same as we did in the other rows. So we do half double crochets until we reach our first stitch marker, and then we will decrease. For a decrease, you need to yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, grab the yarn, pull through, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, grab the yarn, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all those loops, and this is a decrease of half double crochets. Again, yarn over, insert your hook, grab the yarn over, insert your hook, grab the yarn over and pull through all those loops. So now we will do 8 decreases until we reach the other stitch marker, and then we can continue with half double crochets until we reach the end of the row. So now because we did those decreases, this part is bent a little bit and our hood will not be as pointy. So now let's turn everything around so that it's inside out. And we want to close this upper part of our hood, and we will do this with slip stitches again. So you can insert your hook into the last half double crochet that you just did, and then insert your hook into the half double crochet on the other side. grab the yarn and pull through, and this is a slip stitch. And we want to do slip stitches all the way until we reach the end of this part. So when we have done this, our balaclava is actually finished, but I want to create an edge around the hood so that we can insert a string and pull the hood part together. So what we need to do is grab our yarn and pop on a slip knot. And then we go to the left corner down here. Here we want to start. You can see 3 stitches down here, and you want to start into the left of those 3 stitches. Insert your hook, grab the yarn and pull through. And now we want to start by chaining 7. So chain 7. And then we want to do some single crochets into the back loop. So when you have the 7 chains, when you turn it around, you can see the back loops. They are these small vertical loops. You can see them here. Skip the first one. Insert your hook into the second back loop from the hook. Grab the yarn and pull through. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both loops, and this is a single crochet into the back loop. We will do a single crochet into each back loop until we reach the hood part again. So 6 single crochets. And after we did 6 single crochets, we want to connect this edge part with the hood part, and we will do this with slip stitches. So you do your 6 single crochets, and then we are down here where the hood part is. So we want to connect this little part to the hood part. So insert your hook, grab the yarn and pull through. Now you have connected that small part with your hood part. We want to jump 1 space to the left, so insert your hook again, grab the yarn and pull through, another slip stitch, then a turning chains, and then you can turn your work. And you skip all those slip stitches, insert your hook into the last single crochet that you just did, and we'll put a single crochet on top of it, but we will work into the back loop only. So for the whole edge part, we will work into the back loop. You do 6 single crochets into the back loop. This is my 6th one. Then you should be here. Chain 1, turn your work, and then again single crochets into the back loop. There should be again 6 single crochets into the back loop, and after the 6, we will again attach this edge part, the new part that we just crocheted, to the hood part with a slip stitch. So let me finish with the single crochets. Now I want to connect this to the hood part with a slip stitch. Then I jump 1 spot to the left with a slip stitch. Chain 1. Turn your work, skip all those slip stitches, insert your hook into the last single crochet that you just did, and then you can continue with the single crochets into the back loop again. And so we work our way around the border of the hood, and we create this ribbed border around here until we reach down here again. So when we have done this, this is how it should look like. We have this border now. Now we can do a finishing knot, and we will pull out quite a bit of yarn because we want to use this yarn for sewing. So here, pull, pull, pull until you have enough yarn so that you can sew all around the border of your hood. Now can leave our hood for a bit. We want to crochet a cord or a string. We start with a slip knot, and then we want to chain until it is 85 centimeters long, which for me was 150 chains. And then when you have the right length, we want to work into the back loop again. So we turn our chain around. Here you can see the back loops, and we want to do single crochets into the back loop. There are these vertical loops that you can see at the back of your chain. So skip the first back loop, insert your hook into the second back loop from the top, grab the yarn and pull through. You have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through both loops, and this is a single crochet into the back loop. We will do a single crochet for each back loop until we reach the end of our chain. So now that we have this cord, we want to insert it into our hood. So for this you need to turn the hood inside out. And then you take this long string that we just pulled out, and we need a darning needle for the sewing part. So we take our darning needle with that long strand of yarn, and you take the cord and you put it onto that border part, and then you want to close the border part around the string. So fold it over, and now you can sew that part together, but without sewing the cord onto it. So the cord should be, you should be able to move the cord when everything is sewn on. So try to not touch the cord part with the darning needle. You insert it onto that border here, and when you pull on the string, it kind of folds over. So we fold the border part over, we sew the whole thing, and we make sure that the cord part is, you can move it, so we don't touch the cord part with our needle. So we do this for the whole hood, all around the hood, until we reach the other side. You fold it over and then you sew it together. And when we have done that, this is our beautiful balaclava. This was such a fun project. It has these different parts, and you can kind of watch your project come together, and in the end you get this beautiful and cozy and warm balaclava for the winter season. And I hope you have fun crocheting.